Good afternoon, neighbors. I see a little bit of green on that meter back there, but it's actually popping into the red a little bit. Anyway, it's funny how these cameras work. I got the reel-to-reel, the open reel deck going today. Finally, this is the first tape we recorded of Thelma's original music back in 1981, I believe. We got the keyboard in 1981, Yamaha PS20 keyboard. They had two keyboards that year, PS10 to PS20, and we were able to get the PS20, the better one. And oh gracious, she played that thing for years. We took it on the road in 1986, spring of 1986. We did our first concert tour of to and around Florida. Stopped along the way a few times, and then mostly spent a couple of months in Florida and came home, and that was exciting. And the following year she had that keyboard and a second keyboard. She played both of them because the oldest one still had some sounds on it she liked better than the newer one, and had two keyboards in 87. And then by 88 we had the PSR 6300, which was a whale of a keyboard, probably the top keyboard Yamaha ever produced. And not synthesizer. I mean, it had some synthesizer capability, but it was actually a keyboard. Anyway, little family history there. I think my hair's a mess. Yeah, had a couple of days off with school. We had school for a couple of days. That's why I didn't do videos. I've been busy. And anyway, it's cold again. It's down below 20 degrees. It's 18, 19 degrees out there right now. I don't know. It looks nice, sunshine. Days are getting longer, but still cold now. Too cold to go outdoors and do anything if you don't have to. If you have to, you have to. If I had to, I could be out there, but I don't have to, so I'm not. We were just reading in my grandson's history yesterday. We were reading about William Tyndale and John Huss. I take that back. John Wycliffe and John Huss. Tyndale came like 150 years later. Wycliffe was the first man to produce an English language Bible, against the wishes of the Church of England at that time, which was just a slight variation of the Roman Catholic Church, which still had some pretty strange beliefs about communion and baptism and indulgences, things like that. Well, that was Catholic, but anyway. And then John Huss comes along behind, and John Wycliffe was actually found guilty of heresy after he died, and the Church of England actually exhumed his body so they could burn it. John Huss was burned at the stake. 150 or so years later, William Tyndale, who also published an English Bible, was burned at the stake. Wonderful, wonderful history of the church there. In some cases, today's church is still excommunicating people, let's put it that way. They don't burn them at the stake much anymore, but some of us are getting excommunicated. It's a sad situation. Thelma and I were talking about prayer today, and the Bible says, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against principalities and powers and spiritual entities in high places and so on and so forth. And it's not up to us to do spiritual warfare for distant places. Minneapolis, for instance. I mean, that's their problem. My wrestle is with my own life. My walk with God is where my battle is, and yours and hers. And we talked about prayer. We need to pray for revelation. Pray for God to reveal more of Himself to us. That's the key to knowing how to behave, what to do in life, what to do in certain situations. We need to learn how to live appropriately and efficiently and productively. I guess that's what productively, Christian spiritual lives. And so we need revelation in our own life. We need to ask God to show us what we need to know about his plan for us. Have a great afternoon and evening, folks.